Hello everyone, my name is Danielle Swisher and I am the author of Murder on All Hallows Eve and Other Short Stories, which is now available for purchase at Amazon.com in paperback and or Kindle. Today I'm going to do a reading sample for you. This time I'm going to read for you the story called The Antique Quarter, which can be found in your book on pages 92 in the paperback. Anyways, here it goes. Hello, Gladstone Antiques. This is Emily Gladstone speaking. How may I be of service? My name is Gladys Mariner. I am calling to ask if my vase has come in. Yes, Mrs. Mariner, your vase has arrived. When will you be able to come in? At 3 p.m., my dear. Can you please remind me how much I owe you? The vase costs £2,000, £450, Mrs. Mariner. I look forward to seeing you at 3 o'clock, all right? Goodbye. Goodbye. With that, Emily hung up the phone and leaned back in her office chair. She had a satisfied grin on her face, knowing that she had made yet another sale. A few minutes passed. She went to the storage section of the antique store to retrieve Mrs. Mariner's Art Nouveau vase. She received another phone call, this time on her cell phone. Hello, Emily Gladstone. How may I help you? Oh, hello, Lady Featherwell. How are you? I'm glad to hear that. I'm doing well. So what can I do for you? Do I have an 18th century Burgundian furniture? Good Lord, no. I'm so sorry. Not at the moment. What kind of piece are you looking for? Writing desk? Are you sure it has to be Burgundian? I had plenty of English and German writing desks from the 18th century that I could put aside for you. All right, then. I'm sorry, but I don't know what to tell you, but I don't have an 18th century Burgundian writing desk. You'll have to look somewhere else. If you want, I can make phone calls to see if I can find one for you. All right, good day, love. Emily hung up her cell phone and headed towards her desk again. She then pulled out a huge address book from her desk and literally began calling each and every antique dealer in London. Unfortunately, everyone said that they did not have a Burgundian writing desk that they could sell to her. Emily then calls and emails all of her antique dealer colleagues throughout the UK, and once again no luck. Disappointed and frustrated, she then decides to locate and call antique dealers in France's Burgundy region. She finally found one located in Dijon's Quai des Antiquités, or Antique Quarter, that had an 18th century Burgundian writing desk available. However, whether or not she was going to purchase it or her client. Emily picks up her cell phone and recalls Lady Featherway. Hello, Lady Featherway. Oh, yes, how are you? Good, I am doing good, thank you. Listen, I have some good and bad news. I found you an 18th century Burgundian writing desk. Yes, I know, it's fabulous. However, there's a catch. It's currently in an antique store in Dijon, France. Yes, I recognize it's a problem. You want me to go to France, buy it from him, and then resell it to you once I return to London? Oh, Lady Featherway, I can't wait. I can't. What about my store? Who's going to look after it while I'm gone? You'll pay me double than what the antique store in Dijon will offer me? You'll pay for my expenses? You'll send over one of your servants to take care of my store? Oh, thank you, Lady Featherway. I will not disappoint you. With that, Emily hung up the phone and went back to work. 2 weeks later, Emily was at Heathrow, catching her flight to France. As promised, Lady Featherway had purchased all of Emily's travel expenses. Round-trip British Airways tickets from London to Paris, TGV tickets from Paris to Dijon, and a 4-night stay in a luxury hotel. Once her flight left Heathrow, it took 3 hours to arrive to Paris. From the airport, Emily took the metro to Gare du Lion, picked up her train tickets, and got on the TGV train that was to take her to Dijon. 2 hours later, she arrived in Dijon. When she arrived in her hotel, she called Robert the owner of the antique shop in Dijon's antique district, that she was to meet up with tomorrow in order to confirm their appointment for 9 a.m. After the phone call, Emily went to eat for dinner some boeuf bourguignon in her hotel's restaurant. When she was finished with dinner, she went back up to her room, watching television, and then went to bed. Emily woke up bright and early at 7 a.m. After taking a shower, she put on her finest violet silk blouse and matching black blazer and skirt. Once she was dressed, she went downstairs to her hotel's restaurant to drink a grande crème and eat a croissant. When Emily was finished with breakfast, she headed towards Dijon's antique quarter and to Robert's shop. The street that his shop was found on was kind of lonely, because there weren't any people down the street. Another thing she noticed was that the cobblestone street and 16th century wooden-framed buildings were barely untouched. Emily finally found Robert's shop, located on the first left of the very narrow ancient street. As soon as she enters into the store, she hears and sees a young gentleman greet her with a melodious bonjour. She responded back with an equally melodious bonjour as she closed the door behind her. She then asked in French, "Are you Robert?" "I'm Emily Gladstone, from Gladstone Antiques in London. I'm here to examine and buy the 18th century Burgundian writing desk." "Ah oui, madame, I am Robert. Enchanté." "Yes, please follow me." Emily followed Robert to the back of the store. Finally, he stops in an area of the store filled with large furniture and says, "Voilà, madame, here is the desk." Emily walks past and begins to examine it. It's certainly in superb condition, and has fine details, especially for a desk built 1750. "How much is it?" 2,000 euros, madame. Is that satisfactory?" "Yes, it is, thank you," replies Emily. "I'm ready to purchase." Robert leads her to the front of the store in order to resolve Emily's transaction. "Can I please have this shipped to my store? Here is my card. Use this address to ship it, please." "But of course, madame," replies Robert politely. He takes his business card, delivers a polite smile, and then both him and her bid each other good day. Soon as Emily leaves the antique store and walks up the 500-year-old cobblestone street, she notices once again how reticent and lonely it is. She is the only pedestrian, however, not for long. She all of a sudden hears a woman's voice call behind her, "Madame! Madame!" Emily doesn't recognize the voice. However, the woman will not stop calling her. She turns around to find an eerie figure wearing a long black manteau and a 16th century style dress commonly favored by those a part of the merchant class. The woman's face is obscured, as well as her right arm. However, she has her left arm stretched out and pointed towards Emily. Her left hand was facing up, holding a luminous stone that obscured most of her palm. The stone glowed alternating red, green, blue, and brown light. Emily was drawn to the light, and noticed it grew brighter as she moved closer to the mysterious woman, who stood as still as a spectre before her. Finally, Emily arrives in front of the woman. She tries to get a look at her face, but once again, all she sees are the shadows created by the hood of her manteau. When Emily realized that she wasn't going to get a response or see the woman's face, she reaches her right hand to touch this glorious luminescent stone in her left hand until her hand covered it. Once Emily's hand covered the stone, a bright white and pastel yellow light illuminated from the stone and surrounded them both. A strong burst of wind engulfed them. However, it seemed to only cause disturbance to Emily's well-mannered, long red hair, and not to the hood of her mysterious companion. Despite the vilest burst of wind, the two women both remained facing each other, with Emily's right hand grasping the stone, while the mysterious woman kept her right hand underneath the stone, steady and firm. Suddenly the wind stops and the light dissipates to where their surroundings are revealed. Emily and the woman are still on the same street they encountered each other. However, there was something very different about it. Emily looked around and noticed that there were lots of people walking up and down the street, dressed in 16th century style Burgundian attire, and that the business that aligned the street when she arrived there this morning was no longer there. In fact, there were no business signs whatsoever. It looked like they were all residences.